Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do this makeup. I've decided to just pretty much use all mauves, and I haven't done that in a while. I just love the way it looks on tan skin. I think it looks super beautiful and very flattering. I'll take you through it. And if you just kind of are curious and wondering what's the deal with my background, I pretty much rearranged my room, and I love it like even more now because it's just a little bit more spacious in here. So this is my spare bedroom. I actually use it every single day, and this is where my closet is. Granted, the other space was like perfect for filming, but it was so bulky and like everything was in the way of my path. So I thought I would just rearrange it so that I can like be happy with it day to day, but also get excited about filming. So that's why everything looks a little different. But I'm trying new things here and there, so you'll kind of see those as the videos come along. If you want to see how I get this look, then keep watching and I'll show you. I've already moisturized my face for about 5 minutes, and I'm putting on this primer by Too Faced. It's called the Hangover FX. I like it because it's pretty tacky, which will be perfect for this foundation. So this is a little sample of the MAC Prolongwear Waterproof foundation in the color NC42. I believe right now they actually just came out with new colors, which is awesome because there was a smaller range in that one, but now they have a bigger, wider range because it's a really great foundation. So I'm actually applying it with a dense brush. This is one from MAUVES. I'll figure out what the name of it and put it below. But just in case there's any streak marks, I'm going to use a wet, damp beauty blender and just tap it all over my face and my skin just to prevent any like streak from happening. Every once in a while for certain foundations, I don't know why, there's a spot on the bottom of my cheek that just doesn't hold foundation for some reason. So I just tapped on a little bit more and then buffed it out with a beauty blender really gently so that it lays on a little bit better. Does anyone else have that issue? I don't know. And I'm not going to use a primer on my eyelids. I'm actually just going to use this foundation because, again, it's a very long-lasting waterproof foundation, so I think it works. All right, for my eyes, I'm using the Morphe palette in the 350, and I'm using this light color to kind of set the foundation that I used as my base. I never usually do this because I just don't have like a white shadow that's kind of quick and handy, but every time I pull this palette out, I love using this color. It's such a great one. It's just a little bit off-white and it's perfect for my skin. The colors I'm using is this brown one here and then this little like maroony one. So the first thing I'm doing is taking that first brown color with my transition brush, which is an E40 brush from Sigma. I've had this one since forever, and they like totally changed the way it is because I got a newer one which isn't the same as the old one, but I think it's because I wore this one out like so many years. So anyways, I'm doing this all over my orbital bone, but I'm kind of taking it a little bit deeper into like the real crease of my eyelids, and I'm also taking it in the inner corner of it. Then with that first brush, I'm just pretty much buffing out the very edges just to make sure that everything's nice and full blown out. Then I'm taking that second color that I pointed out, which has a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of sheen, not too much, and I'm placing that all over my lid with a flat brush and then buffing it out with that same brush that I used to buff out the original color. Every once in a while, I'll tap the brush into the first color just to make sure that it's transitioning beautifully. But I love the way, I was watching The Office, by the way, just to make sure that everything's like seamless with these two transition colors. Once in a while, I like to layer on that shimmery color just on top, making sure that it does have the most vibrancy. Then I'm taking this Essence Sunrise palette. It's an old one, but they have a lot of palettes like this, and I'm placing that in the center of the lid and then buffing that out with that original fluffy brush. And then again, I'm just kind of using this to buff out everything. I like the way colors like this look all together because they look just really seamless and buffed out. Now to really make sure that my lash line is looking a little bit deeper, because I am using lashes, but I don't want a wing liner, I'm using a eyeliner pencil by MAC, and I'm just smudging that really close to the lash line. And I just happen to pull it out a little bit, but to be honest, it doesn't really show when I have my eyes open. So I'm doing that. And then for my concealer, because I'm going to finish my eyes in a second, the concealer I'm using is the Maybelline Master Conceal in the color medium. It's actually a light concealer, but it does, I remember I used to use it all the time and I just loved it all, and I used it nonstop, and I forgot about it for some reason, but I love it still. It just covers your under eye area really well. Every once in a while also I'll kind of put that right underneath my cheekbone just to kind of accentuate that area. And with my Laura Mercier powder, I'm using this directly underneath my eye to set it and prevent any of that area from creasing, because this particular concealer can do that sometimes. Mascara I'm using is the Lash Stiletto from Maybelline, and I'm putting that all over my lashes. I really love this mascara. I forget it. This is not the waterproof one, and it still holds pretty well, but the moment there's a drop, it will just get ruined, but it does hold my curl. Then I'm taking a little bit of my black liner just to kind of add as a base, and then I'm buffing on top that first brown with a very tight, small smudger brush. And then with the more shimmery color, I'm placing that and buffing that on top of it just to have it really cohesive, and buffing it out with a like fluffy blending brush just to make sure it looks nice and blown out. Now I'm using a nude eyeliner from Rimmel. I really love this like eyeliner look, and I like to set my eyeliners with an eyeshadow that's the same color as the eyeliner. I do this trick all the time, and I really like want everybody to try it because it does work. Now I'm putting my lashes on and my brows, which I did it off camera. All right, now for the Laura Mercier powder, I'm just going to dusting that very, very lightly all over my face, more in the areas where I'm going to put the bronzer on, and I'm leaving the higher parts of my cheekbones bare, because I'm going to use these two liquid illuminators from NYX. They're in Gleam and Golden something. I'll put the names below. But I actually mix the colors on a palette, and then I'm tapping it on with a beauty blender. I love these specific ones. I actually like them a little bit better than the cream color bases by MAC. They just stay better. They don't break apart at all, and they really do last throughout the day. I really love these. Now for my bronzer, I'm using this, my favorite, honestly. This is the Glam Bronze by Loreal. I heard that it's making a comeback. Two girls sent me pictures of this in their hometowns, and I'm still looking for the display where I'm from. So I'm putting that all over my cheekbones, and it was actually pretty, I was worried that I should have done this first, but it actually like kind of sat on my skin pretty well with the illuminators on top. But just in case, I just wanted to add a little bit more of that gleam just to make sure everything's looking nice and shiny in a good way. I love this. It looks so pretty in person. It really does. All right, for my brows, now that everything and all my highlighters are on, I'm setting them with the Make Me Brow by Essence. This one's in Brownie Brows. I really do love this product. I talked about it in my How to Make Any Foundation Work tutorial, which I'll plug in at the very end. But it's just such a good product, and it really does like keep my hairs from looking super sad and straight down. And then I just needed to have a little bit of definition in my nose, so I took a little bit of the bronzer and just buffed it on the sides of my nose and accentuated the button nose that I like to accentuate sometimes. And the way I do that is by putting some bronzer underneath it and then very closely on top to kind of create an illusion of a button nose. Now I'm spraying my face with the Badescu. You can see right here, I kind of freaked out because it's not fine the way the Milani one is. I really love the Milani setting spray because of its fine mist, but I also dust away any shininess in areas that I don't want it to be shiny, and I showed this trick again in that one video that I talked about with how to make any foundation last long. I wanted the shine to be extra gleamy on my cheekbones, so what I did is I took that eyeshadow palette and used the two lightest colors and used that as my highlighting to set all those liquid illuminators. I've actually taken this specific palette on vacation with me before and used it on my eyes and on my cheeks the entire time, and it just is such a like room saver. But it also just really gives you a really high shine without looking too like chunky, because I thought for a second it would, but actually it's really beautiful on the skin. And then I'm just going to really quickly fix myself up so I can get ready for the lips. For the lips, I'm using the Anastasia lip palette. I don't use this enough on camera, and I actually do use this in real life, IRL. But the colors I'm taking is number 5 and number 8. I'm just using the bottom of the spatula to apply it, and then using a different brush to really get precise at a lip line. I could have used a lip liner, but for some reason I just didn't. I thought it totally worked really well. This formula is amazing. I really love it. Thanks so much for watching that video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in another one, and make sure you're subscribing. Bye.